once you heard the songs, then they stay with you, at least with me. And it's like you can do it, and big composers also do it because it's cheaper and it's faster for at least trying out what could sound good or what not. And with all the orchestral stuff, the synthy stuff, the basses, and it's like I want to express moods, and I also want to get in touch. I will get in touch, even if it annoys any company. And can I make a soundtrack for free? I just want to send them my stuff, and maybe it gets serious as a serious business, and maybe not. But I would regret it if I don't do it. There's a quote. I guess it's in English too. Any similar saying? It says, "You always regret the things you didn't do, and not the things you did."
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I am your host, Brian. And joining me today, hailing from Deutschland, Michael. How you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad. Where at in Germany are you at?
From Bavaria, eastern Bavaria, near the Czech border.
Are you close to Munich?
No, to about 2.5 hours by car. I'm very near to the Czech Republic, so yeah.
I see. The reason why I said Munich, I've actually been there twice. I've actually been to the Hofbräuhaus twice. I would say the because we actually have one out here in the States, but I never considered it the legit Hofbräuhaus. It's just an American version, really. But we still got our German roots and everything, and it's always good to connect with people. I've actually spoken with two other people out of Germany, Neil Esseling and Julian Kramer. Do you know those two by any chance?
Kramer is from Germany. I just jumped through some interviews. I didn't have the time since I know you, but I will look it up. I will catch up. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
You don't know Neil at all, or is he? Because he's also from Germany too. Neil Esseling.
No.
Okay. Check out his interview too if you haven't checked it out yet. So, welcome to my podcast. In this one, I'd just like to ask some questions and everything, just to get to know your story a little bit more. So, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So let's start with a simple one. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into drumming?
I was a 4-year-old kid, and at home, it's maybe a classic or a cliche story. I started from my inner self, out of nowhere, because we have none of my relatives is playing any instrument. And out of nowhere, I started to hit the kitchen inventory, the parts from my mother, and making some noise. So they got me a toy drum. It was just a plaything, and like a snare drum, you can hang it on your body, and like a marching snare drum. But I tore the drum head after a few days. So there was a need for a proper drum set. And some friends of my parents, they had kids that were older yet. They were teenagers already, and they had a Tamer. I know there's a discussion how to say the brand Tamer. Just call it Tamer.
I thought it was Tama or something like that.
Tamer, thank you. And they had a big an adult drum set, but without the resonance heads. So the sound was crap, but we got it very cheap because they had no use for it anymore. And there was me, a 4-year-old kid, hitting the big Tamer drums, listening to Bon Jovi on big stereo speakers I got for Christmas, and fooling around. And then, this was the beginning. And then we were living in a small town, and there was also a local small music school with how can I say, it's like a common education for music for all. Before you start an instrument, a particular instrument, you should, it's just a recommendation, you should, or you were able to start a 2 or 3 years education with some percussion instruments or xylophones. And I went through this, and it was fun with kids at my age. And then I was at the music school for 10 years, learning the drums, playing the drums. And there was a percussion ensemble, a big band at my school. It sounds maybe better or more famous as it was really, but we had some concerts and many great experiences, and got to know a few people then I had I was not sure if I could talk about this because I don't want to show off, but there's a German magazine, a drum magazine. It's called Drumheads. I'm not sure if it's worldwide known, but and there were commercials where you can for contests, and there was a Mapex contest for the. Let me one moment. Where did I take it? One moment.
I'd say don't worry about boasting either. It's all good.
And there was a contest for the best European drummer contest, but it was mostly for the German competitors. And with Dom Famulero in Frankfurt, with the biggest music convention at the world, at least back then in 2007, I was 14 years old, and you have to send a video playing the drums, improvising anything. And I was 14 years old, and my parents supported me very well, and I got the opportunity to play on the stage. And got the fifth. This is signed by Dom Famulero. I saw that also Drummond signed it. Was a great experience. Just wanted to show you because it's part of my story. And I almost lost the point. I'm sorry. This brought me into the newspapers, and then a punk band. I was 14 years old, and all of them were between 18 and 20 years old. They were older, already starting drinking and stuff. And they recognized me and asked me. They never expected that I would say yes. And they asked me if I want to be the new drummer at their band. And I said yes. And so I got connected with other small music projects and with the genre of music that I listen to, punk rock and hard rock and some kind of heavy metal. Just loud music, different than the stuff that you learn that at least I learned at the music school, the classical and rudiments and patterns. It's also important, of course, but it was more fun to play. And yes, and then until I was about 16 years old, I was at the local small music school, and then I was 2 years at the Drummers Focus in Munich. And then I finished my school, and I had to ask myself if I want to study music or anything drums related. But at least back then, I was more interested in learning a job where I can get money and rent an apartment and a car. It was just, there was not a specific interest in continuing doing music, just as a hobby. And it's also, how can I say it? It's not a secure job when you learn something or do something just based on the music. You know what I mean? Because it's always depending on how people like it, and you have to move or travel around and playing concerts. And so I'm happy to have a normal job and did this as a hobby. And yes, this is short version of my story, but it never, I never lose it out of sight. Was great, still great, makes fun.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know about what'd you say it was, Drum World magazine? Was that what it's called? Drumheads. I don't know what it is. I never actually heard of it, actually. So that's the first time it came to my attention. I guess it's just
German or European. But this is also the biggest commercial. The internet wasn't so popular in spirit back then. And most of the best European drummer applicants were from Germany. Yeah. So applicants, thank you.
Yeah.
That was a great experience. It was really, I was too young to get it. You know what I mean? It's just overwhelming. Yeah.
You said you were only 4 years old when that whole thing happened, or was that a couple years later?
The contest?
Yeah.
With 14. I was 14 years old at the contest.
I thought you said 4 years. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and you also talked about that's when you were able to start drinking. You're eligible to start drinking in Germany in this case. I don't know how it is in every single European country, but I always had the drinking stuff is you can do it with your parents when you're 14, but alone, at least beer, not liquors, when you're 16. And it's just the opening of a different world. Driver's license, and you can There's that too, and it's always fun because there's a lot more stricter in the States. You have to be 21 in order to start drinking and that sort of thing.
It's healthier. Well,
yours is actually better tasting too, I have to admit. like I said, I was at the Hofbräuhaus in Munich, and that was the best beer I ever drank my entire life. So hats off
Thank you.
to the German roots.
Thank you.
Deutschland. So talk about your kit. Is it nearby by any chance, or?
No, I'm sorry, but I wrote down everything I am playing on these days. It's a Sonor S class, and I have it since 2005, I guess. I know it's an expensive kit. I got it with 5 toms, and the quality is amazing of the materials. And we were not rich. We were also not poor, but we were not rich. But for one of the contests, I was not the first one. I'm not showing off. I'm just telling you because this is part of the story.
You're fine.
There was some kind of special discount and some kind of bonus payment when I got a new drum kit. So we used the chance, and it's not just paid by us. And I still have it. And with it's black finish with a 22-inch bass drum. It's very saturating. It's really, the sound is, I love it. And the toms I have a 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. 16 is the stand tom, the rest are hang toms, inch toms. And there was a 14-inch snare drum. And the whole kit is made of wood, of course, and also the snare drum. But I wanted to try out different snare drums. And first I replaced the Sonor snare drum with a Pearl Export. It's some of the cheapest snare drums you could buy. I just want not to waste too much money and just to try out a different sound. And then I got to know a steel snare from Gretsch, made in the USA. It's a 13-inch. It's smaller, but the body is deeper, it's bigger. It's about, I measured it because we have our centimeters, and it's about 7 or 8 inch deep. And this is a few inch deeper than a common starting snare drum, at least the ones I know. And the body sound, it's really, I love it. So everything is still the Sonor, but the snare is a Gretsch. And the cymbals also had some replacements time after time. Mostly I play the Sapien AAX crashes, because they are worth the price. The HHX have the best sound. It's like the highest level, of course, from almost every brand, but it's always a money thing, and cymbals are expensive. I used to play a pasty, if I pronounce it right, but it was replaced by a Meindl Byzanz 20-inch sand right, and a Meindl 16-inch dual crash trash. It's with the black rings in it. It's some kind of new, they don't have it for long, but I like the sound. It's more splashy, but still and dark, and it's still, it's great. I have I'm sorry, I'm not very well prepared. I have the normal hi-hats on the left, or I play right-handed. On the left, it's Sildian 14-inch new beat hi-hats. It's great standard, worth the price, everything's fine. And I also, do you know from Rammstein the song Benzin?
I heard that song, yeah.
And in the verses, the drummer Schneider, he plays double bass, but with a closed hi-hat. And back in time, this was the moment where I recognized you can at least have 3 feet or have one closed hi-hat. You know what I mean? So you can double bass, but without closing the hi-hat with 1 foot, so you can play with open hats in the chorus or at other parts of the songs. And so I wanted for Christmas, it was a Christmas gift, another pair of hi-hats, which is always closed. And this is a Sapien XS20 medium 13-inch, and a cheap pasty PST3 Splash 10-inch does its job, and an Sultan Aya. Do you know the music shop Thomann from Germany? They have worldwide shipping and stuff, and they have their own brands. The price is cheaper, but the quality is still great in the mid-range price. And they have their own brand is called Sultan or Aya, I'm not sure, and it's a 14-inch crash. That's my current set. And the double bass, the foot machine is a DW 5000. Also classic, standard, high standard. It's once buy it, you never never get disappointed.
He did his homework. He's got all the notes and everything. That's
Yeah,
basically it.
it was really it's really you're here now in my living room and not at my studio with the drum set. It's in the basement of my parents' house where I can be loud, not in a rented apartment where I can annoy the neighbors. And I was there yesterday and just write it down because I want to give you some information without just estimating. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, most people seem to like go like maybe they write some sort of notes, or maybe they have it in front of them. But yours was actually the one you kind of reading it off with the paper, like right here and there, and like other people might just like set it down like right here. So good on you, mate. That's what we say.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
I guess what sort of sticks do you use? Are they Vic Firths or do you roll with something else?
Most of the time at my teenage years, I played Vic Firth 5A, mostly 5A. And I tried out different brands, and I'm not a fan of this brand is better or this brand sucks. But I tried out different brands, and the Vic Firth really lasted the longest. I don't know why. And I was playing very much rock and metal stuff with rim shots, so I had a time where it was really expensive for buying new pair of sticks time after time for my parents. But the Vic Firth 5A accompanied me most time of my drumming life. And these days I tried out collision drumsticks. It's a new brand. I saw it. Kramer is. I don't know if it's an endorsement. I saw it in an interview, and I also have a great service. I found them. They found me on Instagram and wanted just to make some promotion and stuff, and sent me a T-shirt and great quality sticks. But I still have to pay, of course, the taxes from the UK when I want to import it, and you can't buy it at the stores nearby, at least not now. And we have a local brand of. They also make drum sets. He's also a drum teacher. He was not mine, but he's called. His company is called S Drums. The name is Schmidt-Cons. It's a German name, but S Drums. I have a stick here, and they also make drumsticks. And the price and quality is okay, and they are a little cheaper, like buying it and always paying for the delivery costs. So S-Drums 5A, but I guess I'm fine with all the 5A sticks. It's my size. 7A are too lightweight, and 2B, I tried to play 2B for a while, because the drum teachers at Drummers Focus in Munich, it's really a high level, good drumming school. They said, you should get used to heavier sticks, because the heavier a stick is, the more it does for you with the rebounds, and when you can control it and have the muscles in your finger and get ready for it. If that makes sense, it's just what I remember. And I was fine with it, but you really have to, at least me, I should have been practicing day after day for hours to not lose. Maybe it's a muscle thing, I'm not sure, because it's really hurting when you play it loud and fast and you're not used for all the way. You know what I mean? So 5A is a great middle, and yeah.
Middle ground, maybe is the word you're trying for. Yeah,
middle ground. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I know what you mean too. But was your problem too? Were you coming up and hitting the cymbals and the sticks were going flying and stuff like that? Because you want to try to keep like a loose grip so that you're able to like move the sticks fast and everything too. But if you come up and accidentally hit your hi-hat, for instance, it causes you to lose your grip and your stick falls out of your hands. Is that sort of thing? Does that happen to you?
That's yeah. Also. But I really had do you know it when you don't play the drums for weeks? And I know it's a sin, but when you don't play the drums for weeks and you want to get back into it and you start very fast, that your skin or the fingers and you have to get used to it. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing the guitar, you get it.
You get like a little blister. You
can't
see it. But I think it was like a blood blister at one point.
And I have this still since I'm working and not have the time to play day after day for hours. And when I get back to it, I have the band-aids in advance. But this would be worse, I guess, when I would use even heavier sticks.
I see. What is your profession? Are you still in the music business and everything, or are you doing something else?
No, I don't want to talk too much about my private life. I'm fine. But it has nothing to do with any music, cultural stuff. And I don't regret it. I love what I do. But as you grow older, I'm still a kid, 29 years old. But as you grow older, you sometimes think what you could have done different. And there's always the question, is there any chance? But then with the the actual the current pandemic situation, then it would be, I guess, if I've studied or was at any music academy and everything was depending on getting money from concerts, this would be, I guess there are good and bad jobs for every time. It's good as this is, but it has nothing to do. It's something totally different. Work and private life, and
Is it like a side hustle, or is it just strictly like more of a hobby for the music wise?
it starts to be. I hope it gets someday a side hustle because I more focus on the, how can I say it, on I call it composing. Maybe a professional composer would laugh at me, but I call it composing with. I started to use MIDI keyboards and getting into using libraries, even professional libraries. You wouldn't believe what's even possible. They recorded the best instrument with the best microphones, and you can get it. I would say cheap with subscriptions for maybe $15 a month. You don't have to pay for $1,000 any big library, and you can quit it any month and just try it out. And it was really, you have pianos, acoustic, electric drum sets, all the orchestral stuff, and it really sounds, to me at least, it really sounds like soundtracks, like thematicals, like music and stuff. And I just want to try out if it works and to put my music on some streaming services and to gain, maybe we're talking about cents, a few cents. Maybe it gets better, maybe not. And I just want to, this is the way I want to express myself. And I was always into, I don't want to switch the topics too fast, I'm sorry. Just say stop if it's too fast. But I was always a fan of soundtracks. I was never into gaming or a big movie fan, but I was always into Hans Zimmer, Pirates of the Caribbean. When you once you heard the songs, then they stay with you, at least with me. And it's like you can do it, and big composers also do it because it's cheaper and it's faster for at least trying out what could sound good or what not. And with all the orchestral stuff, the synthy stuff, the basses, and it's like I want to express moods, and I also want to get in touch. I will get in touch, even if it annoys any company. And can I make a soundtrack for free? I just want to send them my stuff, and maybe it gets serious as a serious business, and maybe not. But I would regret it if I don't do it. There's a quote. I guess it's in English too. Any similar saying. It says, you always regret the things you didn't do and not the things you did. And it's very common and cliche, but I think that way in the musical case. I want to express it, and I have fun, and this is the most important thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see what you mean too. And soundtracks, there have been movies who have been absolute crap, but then like the soundtrack itself is like pure gold and stuff like that, because you maybe pull together like maybe some sort of bands with like big names and stuff like that. So I can see what you mean too. So good luck to you, man. Hopefully you get a name. And
thank you.
Go back to your earlier point. I think it was an endorsement with Julian Kramer with Collision. I think he did tell me it was an endorsement, because I think he collects. I think he had a hat. I think he uses their sticks and everything. I think he might have like some of the gear.
In the shirt, I watched that part.
So yeah, it's pretty much an endorsement too. So, what do you love most about drumming?
That you can express more than any other, at least popular instruments, compared to guitars or even vocals is also, how can I say it? I have one comparison. I have to look up his name because he's one of my influences when it's coming to drum covers. It's Kai Smith. He's on YouTube, and I've seen a few overplays. He calls them overplays from Offspring pop punk songs, and you can hear the original song, and he's playing halftime, double time with a different rhythms, just to show you and to try out how can I say it? With drums, the whole song, the whole mood and the atmosphere of a song changes when the drums change the rhythm or the loudness, or using cymbals or open closed hi-hat, playing the 16th note or just the 8th or the 4th notes, and being loud and then double time, and then, you know what I mean? If that makes sense. And this is what I think is one of the greatest examples, at least to me, that shows drumming can, the whole song, when it's with a drum set in it, the whole song uh, gets better or worse with a great drummer. It's the beat, it's the heartbeat, and it could be quiet, loud, fast. You have so much different drums and percussion also with the tambourine. You have so many different opportunities to show the world what's going on inside you. I love it. It's a versatile, if that's the right word. It's a versatile instrument. With the guitars, of course, you can play quick and slow, but it's still just strings. With the drums, you have bass drums, you have the bongos or different percussion instruments, and drums, just the drums.
Yeah, absolutely too. Have you ever played any other instruments, or have you just stuck mostly drums your entire life?
No, I also still play the guitars. I say the guitars because I mean electric guitars, bass guitars, and acoustic guitars, also ukulele. But it's not. It sounds like I'm showing off, but I don't say that I play everything good. I just say that I'm playing them, and I love to play them, and I can play maybe the easiest pop punk chords, and it's fun. But that's it. It's drums and the guitars. And my parents bought me, it was a birthday gift, also a very cheap, maybe $80 for electric guitar and an amp and a cable, just to try it out, a beginner set, the perfect beginner set. The whole guitar, it was full of rust, the metal parts, after maybe 6 months. It was almost useless. But it was great to figure out if this is what you want to continue to play or not. And this was the entering of the melodic instruments, because drums are still mostly drums and percussion, or just the rhythm group, the most important, I guess. And this started, so I could figure out what is a chord, what sounds good, what is major, minor, what's sad, what's powerful, what's big, what's bright, and but no other instruments. And with the MIDI keyboards, I guess you know what I mean. It's just like a piano keys you can put via USB or MIDI cable to your laptop. And but I don't play the keys. It's more finding out. I know the notes from playing the guitar, and I know what's a chord, but it's more finding out and some atmosphere and deeper tones and higher tones. It's more fooling around until I think it sounds good.
Yeah, I know what you mean. In fact, I have not used my MIDI keyboard in quite a while, so I kind of feel bad. And it would be nice to get back into making music. I actually reached out to a couple friends.
Do you play other instruments? I see I saw your bass video a few weeks ago.
I do, yeah. It's right over here, actually. But
okay,
just to kind of show it real quick.
Okay, great.
It's really about it, but that's why I just say it's like kind of a Chinese ripoff, because I think my dad said it was like a Les Paul sort of thing.
It sounded great. The video of yours was sounding great.
Yeah, let's say maybe there's a little bit of like vibration and stuff like that. It's probably the thing with trying to make sure, even if you get it close to where the fret is, where you're supposed to put your fingers at, so you get the right sound coming out of it. Yeah, it does kind of vibrate a little bit, so I do feel kind of bad, but it's at least something to definitely practice on too. I've been kind of rolling with I shouldn't say drop D, but it's really just the E string is dropped to D. So then everything else is the same with A, D, and G. And I realized like Silverstein, Rage Against the Machine, Tool, or not Tool, Fuel. That's what I meant to say, Fuel. And those bands, they play on those kind of...
It's a common tuning, rock and metal.
That one, and then just the standard tuning too. I recognize there's like, even like some of the thrash metal groups back in the 80s, they were rolling with standard tuning as well. Even if they maybe used like a little distortion to kind of make it sound more metal-y, so to speak. So
I guess, yeah.
Let's jump into your YouTube channel. I guess, what sort of social media do you use to kind of promote yourself?
YouTube and Instagram. I started both about the same time. It was the end of 2020. I was never on Facebook, so I was never on the classical social media, and I was also very late getting a smartphone. It was about the end of 2019, and at my age, guys at my age, they used to make jokes of me because I was still using with the keys, old mobile cell phones, like for old people with the big keys, because I didn't need any camera or something. And with this how can I say it? I wanted to do drum covers, and I was about 26 or 7. It's, and I don't know what exactly was the cause, but I had the thought that why didn't I start earlier? You know what I mean? I knew the videos on YouTube playing drum covers, and I always was thinking, I can do that too. At least the easy songs, I can do that too. And the cameras, my mother has a video camera, not the best, but the cameras and things. You have the drum set, you have the room in the basement of your parents' house, so there are no big costs between me and getting into spreading your music on recording yourself and spreading it on social media. And I got to YouTube, and almost the same time with friends, they told me just shoot a few photos at your room, the drumming room, the studio. I call it studio, and maybe it's interesting for some people, and on Instagram. And I think it's fine. I don't miss anything, and Instagram is fine. And I also love the easy opportunity to get in touch with maybe people like you, or you come in touch with me, or any stars even, or when you just hashtag or add a band and they repost it at their story, even if it's just a small band, but it's a great response to my stuff. You know that feeling when it's like a recommendation of the band for 24 hours at the story to, hey, watch him. And then some of the fans writing comments and supporting me, and I love that feeling. And this is what I think social media should be about. There are also so many, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if only that was, well, in some cases it can be, but then you then run into the toxicity, as I like to call it too.
Of course. Yeah.
But that's mostly like political stuff, and everybody just starts freaking out about it over nothing, really. So,
and the bad vibes. The bad vibes when they are discussing about nothing. As you said, it's mostly political. I don't want to get too deep into that because it's not of interest of me, because I'm not sure they don't seem that they want to make the world a better place. You know what I mean? This is not the way I want to think. I don't say that I'm the best guy or anything, really, but it's the bad energy. It really drags me down. When I read that, it's...
Yeah, I know what you mean. It irritates me too, so... And sorry if you hear any background noise. My AC just kicked on, so
it's okay.
All right, but I guess how has the political climate kind of been in Germany? I know you guys kind of having a whole issue with Russia right now. So I think it was Gazprom pipeline or Nord Stream, one of those two. They got the gas to Germany.
I don't follow the news every day, so I'm sorry to not maybe give you the quality of a good answer. There are discussions, and it's for me or for the private persons, it's the gasoline is very expensive, and some of the I don't know the terms in English. Some goods are getting more expensive or out of range for a few weeks or month, but I guess we're still lucky, so it's still okay. You can feel it with the energy and the gasoline prices, but it's still okay. I don't know for how long, but if that answers your question.
Yeah, good enough. It's best to kind of not think about it too much, but I know it's everywhere in the news. So I was just curious, like, how's life in Germany really? But inflation's the term, so it's when prices just skyrocket here. Yeah, the big inflation, a bad inflation, and it's. I don't know the daily amounts, but it's about 6, 7, 8%. I'm not sure of inflation. But I don't want to talk any lies or something. I just wanted to get a quick answer to that one, just to see how life's been. So, but getting back into your channel, is there something you hope to achieve with it, or are you just hoping to kind of influence people in some way?
I'm happy as it is, just with my the general small community of musicians. It's growing slowly with guys like you. Thank you again for the invitation. It was really, you made my day. I was smiling the whole day when I read it. I got up, and because of the different time zones, I got it early in the morning, and it was really made me proud. And this is also a great response of the community. You know what I mean? It's also like the Drummond
190.
190. Matt, he found me, he discovered me in last year in March, and this was the first step into more subscribers. It's just numbers, and it's nothing of importance. But it's I saw a comment of Drummond, and he commented one of my last videos of my drum covers. And before that, I got no comments, or just from random guys, just one or two. And then I showed my friend, hey, show what he does. Look what he does. And I saw the Drummers to Watch series. And he also got many parts of the series. And I hoped and expected, and I was lucky that I was right, that I was part of the next video, Drummers to Watch. And then not all maybe, but many of the community, I got attention from his community too. And still got a few online friends and commenting and sending memes, or just for fun, and supporting each other. And this is more than I expected when I was starting social media, and this is what makes me proud and happy. And there are so many great drummers out there, and they are responding. You are responding. I also write some comments for the bigger ones. Christina Sciano, if you know her, Sciano, I don't know how to say, just with millions of views. And of course, it's way too much to answer every comment or something, but it's the small community, great energy, and still people you can get in touch with. And this is the state of how it is right now is fine to me. I hope to achieve that it slowly grows, to get more attention from maybe some companies or studios for anything. I'm not craving for anything particular, but just to reach out for more people. It's just a hope. If not, it's fine. But I think it's slowly growing. All of the community, the drummers, it's slowly growing and getting bigger. And this is everything I want to achieve with social media.
Yeah, I know what you mean too. And special thanks to Drumman 190, but also with Drums by Ash Wells. He also helps out in that community too.
Yeah,
so,
I know him. Yeah.
But I had to admit, kind of go back to your point. You had said, I kind of wish I had started sooner with my channel or stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe I should have started sooner doing like this podcast and stuff like that, because it's really helped me out, kind of grow my base too. I'm kind of a little bummed because I lost 2 subscribers last day, so I was kind of a little bummed about that. But regardless, you try not to focus on the numbers, but at the same time, it's really all you can really focus on, because you're trying to put your content into the best possible use, and you try to make sure that, okay, audio sounds good, looks like video is good. I might have to like trim some parts here and there, but it's a crazy beast, to say the least. So
yeah, you can take measures. You can say what excites more people, or what is not gaining any attention, or what's not spreading, and what do people like to watch or not. But yeah, I just wanted to express that it's how can I say, it should not be only based on the numbers. So of course it's great when I see that I have one drum cover, the Sum 41, the Hell song, and it has about 30,000 views. And this is amazing to me. This is amazing. Even my mother or friends, they tell me still now, look how many views you have. And this is what makes me proud, of course. Just wanted to say that this is not, if that would not be a case, it's still fine. I'm happy for every comment, for every thumbs up, for every private message on Instagram, or especially situations like this. Really, it feels great. And I think you have a soothing voice. You do it professionally. It's
Thank you.
Great. I was so happy. I'm still so happy.
Yeah, and I'm sure you were like a kid on Christmas when you saw the message come. And
yeah, it was really, we can compare it. Yeah.
When I was on YouTube, because some people don't put like any social media channels, because I saw you get like the Instagram, Facebook, and that sort of thing there, and you're able to like go there, connect to their page, and then maybe message them. So really, just one day I just decided like, hey, let's just see what this guy says, because I reached out to like, I actually have no idea. I think it was like 15 or 20 people that day just to see if they wanted to come on. Some of them I had to strictly email, because that's really the best way I could reach them too. Others had through Instagram, some messaging on Facebook. So it was good to see you responded pretty quickly, so I was actually pretty happy about that. So good to have you on, bud.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. You had talked about influences already. Were there any other influencers who kind of influenced your drumming style? Maybe some of the people out of the classic rock, the maybe present 80s, 90s rock or metal?
Tico Torres, or Torres from Bon Jovi. I don't know how to pronounce it. I guess he has Mexican roots. Torres.
Probably.
As a kid, I mostly listened to Bon Jovi. I had a CD from my parents. It was my parents' CD, Crossroads. Across 80s songs at the end of the 80s or the beginning of the early 90s. In and Out of Love. In and Out of Love. And this was I don't want to say that it's easy, but it's straight ahead, or like AC/DC. It's straight ahead drumming with mostly basic beats and not too difficult riffs, just in my opinion. But the drive was great. Do you know what I mean? If the whole with the bass lines and the sound is great, the drive is great. So this was one of the first that maybe brought me into drums.
Everything came together, so to speak. It was like you felt it in the music, you felt the energy, and it was connected with your consciousness and soul and that sort of thing. So it connected, so to speak.
Yeah, and this was the first one. And then there were some smaller bands. Do you know the Norwegian band Turbo Negro? They call themselves the punk rock, fun rock with fun lyrics. And the former drummer is Chris Summers. At least his official name is Chris Summers. And how did I come to this? I watched Checkers #2, and there was a skateboard scene. And then was a song. It's one of the most famous and popular songs from Turbo Negro. All my friends are dead. I wanted to get that song. I want to get to know that band. And then I got to most of the records of Turbo Negro, and the drummer is Chris Summers, and it's also it's nothing special. He's a great drummer, but it's nothing special. It's straight ahead, fast rock, punk rock, boom 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 boom, but with some easy fills and the energy. And when you see, I watched the live videos on YouTube, and this is what catches me up. This is what I want to. Yeah, I want to. When I have listeners someday, they should feel, I want them to feel the same feeling as I had listening to Tico Torres or Chris Summers. And also, of course, bands like Sum 41, Pepper Roach, so many names, Joey Jordison, but he always was playing too difficult stuff. It's still, I'm not too fast with the double bass and the blast beats. And I love the volume 3, the subliminal verses from Slipknot with Duality, Before I Forget. Great drumming, but too difficult to play by myself. But I love the energy, and I got so many posters in my playroom. They are still hanging on the wall at my parents' house with Jody Jordison, and he Pasty or Sabian, I'm not sure, or Pearl. So many drum brands he was endorsed by, and always looking crazy with his mask, and yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace to Joey Dorson. I know a lot of people kind of said he was a big influence too. I know the first one that comes to mind is Kieran Walls, because he was a friend I interviewed a while back, and he talked about after Joey Dorson. So you could see like how much of an impact he had on people's lives for the time that he was on the surf. So rest in peace, Joey. So let's see. Did you ever kind of combine your sets together? Or I guess I know you kind of went into detail about your set and everything, and that was all acoustic, but did you ever have an electric set and then maybe try to add that as like a percussion kind of sounding? If you know what I mean?
No, I have a Roland drums. Is it the same you have? Do you have V drums from Roland?
Yeah. Which one's yours specifically? Because mine's like a TD-25K.
Is there a TD-11?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. They kind of jump around with the numbers and everything, but it seems like they have like TD something, so it would surprise me.
Yeah, it's TD something. But the basic set, not with all that toms, I guess 2 or 3 toms, 1 snare drum and 1 ride, 1 crash and hi-hat. But at my first single apartment. I was living on the third floor. I had to move because of my job, and I could not play the drums anymore. And then I bought it because I thought electric drum sets are not loud. And with the pedal board, the DW5000, and I put some blankets underneath the drum set because I thought this would be enough. You can put it also, you can buy it in Germany, you can put it under the washing machines so they are don't making too much noise when they are vibrating with the, you know what I mean. And I was playing the drums the first time, the whole afternoon, and with headphones listening very loud to metal music. And then afterwards, a few weeks afterwards, I got to know that my neighbors in the first and second floor thought that the woman in the first floor thought that above her in the second floor there are horses running in the people from the second floor, the couple was coming up and ringing my doorbell and hitting the door and Michael, what's wrong? But as there was no response, no answer, because I didn't hear it, they thought that this was any technical stuff out from the basement in the pipes from the wall. Because it was you could only hear it, but very loud when you were really directly under the resonance of the hit, where the kick hits the pad, it was too loud. It was too loud. And this is why I had to stop doing this. It was just still too loud. This was my short story of playing the electric drum set. I still play it sometimes, but it's at home at my studio. But it's...
I see, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a problem that my mom kind of hears too, especially if I'm playing late at night. So I think it's because it travels through the vents and everything, and then it's able to like come through. Otherwise, it might be the insulation is not the greatest, so it's not absorbing the sound when it's like coming through there. So unfortunately, your neighbors are able to hear everything, and then they just come and start banging on the door, banging the old style that they used to bang the broom against the ceiling there, just to kind of get them like the shot, that sort of thing.
Do you know if she hears only the bass drum resonance or also the toms hitting?
Maybe a little bit of the toms, but I think it's more bass. If anything, I think the bass is extremely dominant, because I know when I'm trying to like record a drum cover, like when I'm doing MIDI into my interface here. I guess that was jump into some of the fun questions right here. So, do you like beer or wine?
Beer.
What sort of beer?
Helles. Do you know the German Helles? Did you drink it at the Hofbräuhaus? I guess it's the standard.
Oh, fuck. I can't remember what the brand of it was, but I remember it being very damn good,
too. Was it in a straight glass, or was it like a goblet?
It was a straight... it was those big glasses with the handle on the side. It was those big mugs.
Then I guess it was a lager or a standard, a Helles. And yeah, it's the standard. You can also the goblet is the Weizen beer, the white wheat beer. I'm not sure if there's any literal. It's also great. And in northern Germany they drink Pilsner. At least to my knowledge, they drink more Pilsner. But I like the standard Helles. And many people also have one of my closest friends is an American working for the doesn't matter, but living here, and she was traveling through the world, but she said that the Bavarian beer is one of the best at the world. And I don't want to say that the brands and cars and stuff, but I heard this really from several people out of the whole world that our beer is... This is
superb.
It's good.
Yes, and I would happily agree too. That was the best beer ever, because it could have been Helles. I really wish I could remember too, because I remember loving it, and it really made me buzz after I finished it too. So I mean, I probably could have gone on a good bit, but I might have had been dragged back to my apartment then. So this one, all right. This question is a little bit funny too, because you seriously look like Orlando Bloom, fresh and long hair and everything too.
Thank you.
But actually, that is more of a not as clean shaven look in Legolas with in Lord of the Rings. It's more of I forget what character he played in Troy. He was Hector's brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you look more like that, and maybe I think if you had the hair all tight in a ponytail, I think you'd get away with it, to be honest. So, have people ever compared you to like any famous actor or anything?
Thank you. I never heard that, but
Orlando Bloom. That was the actor's name, and was like, damn,
I
this guy
guess it's
looks
a
like.
compliment because he's a beautiful man.
Yeah. I mean,
um,
he got some of the looks. I'm just saying, he just got some of the looks there. So I'm thinking like, oh man, he's looking like a man. So
Thank
I just
you.
didn't know. I just didn't know. Did anybody ever compare you to anything, or am I the first one to do that?
You're the first one, but I'm thankful. I take it as a compliment. Thank you.
Okay.
It's
Uh,
more of it's chaotic, and I wear the cap because that my hair it grows out from an undercut, and it looks odd. It's the odd period of time where the hair is not long enough on the side and on the back, and until then I just have to move around like this. But it's okay. But I never heard any comparison to anybody.
I
But
see.
thank you.
Okay. Okay. I'm just looking at it. I just figured, like, okay, maybe I'll just ask it, just do it as a fun question, see what kind of answer we get. So, all
Of
right.
course, thank you.
All right. What's your favorite food?
Peppers and meats, sausages, salami, Italian sausages and peppers, and Tabasco, the original red one, Tabasco.
Oh, you spice it up, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. Does that mean you're a spice fanatic too? Do you sometimes do a little daredevil, eat those real hot, spicy kind of peppers too?
Sometimes very hot and spicy, but most times a little, always a little, at least a little. But yeah, yeah.
I forget what that. Oh man, I actually do. I've seen the YouTube channel. It's like they bring these stars on, and they're eating, like, I guess, these real spicy wings. I forget what kind of sauce it is. It might be like those Reaper sauces or something. And they're meant to ask questions while they're eating these wings. And I guess they're like sweating profusely. They're probably watering at the eyes and everything. It's like, oh god, this thing's so hot, man. That sort of thing. So
I've heard from that. I'm not sure if I've seen it, but yeah, it sounds like fun, and it sounds like maybe the people are answering more honestly, because they are under it's some kind of pressure.
it's almost like a torture test almost.
You don't have the time and the energy to think about too much, to overthink your answers, and could you say anything wrong? But yeah, sounds like fun. You could try you could try that too in the future.
I feel like I could, but I don't know, because I think people might just fake it, to be honest. But
Yeah,
I was thinking something with
maybe
something with drinking too. I was trying to think of every wrong answer you have to give. You have to like take a nice sip of beer or something like that. So
and
that's
as
part of
long
a game
as
show idea. So
and as long as it's not live, you can still cut out a few anything, not breaking the law, or you know what I mean, any bad parts in it. But yeah,
all right,
spice
it's
it
an
up.
idea, but we'll consider it. All right, but just kind of back into COVID a little bit. So
Yeah.
back into a serious question here, I guess. How bad did it impact you and your community and family?
My family and me, we were lucky, not too bad. And at the time I started my social media account at the end of the first year of 2020 of the COVID year. So I had my time and to build up my room with all the muffling on the wall and preparing to do drum covers because you can do it all on your own. And we had there was a small impact. We had a band project with we were 5 guys. It started in 2019, was growing very quickly. We had many songs in that time, own songs, and then until 2020 August. And the pandemic was not the only reason that we quit, but it accelerated the things happening, I guess, because we had a room, a training room, a practice room, and it was connected with some other stuff and bureaucracy, and we were not allowed to use it all the time during the pandemic with the first rules and lockdowns, and it was also part of, literally translated, a not necessary business. So the practicing parts were they became very rare, and we had not enough time for a month, and in August we split up. So this was the only maybe impact. But I was lucky. I was not involved in any other project. I was not depending on any other stuff with money or income. So yeah, and I have to say I'm more of an introverted person. For me, I have my small community in real life and online with very close friends. and doing things on my own in my time, or some project with a friend of mine who is a singer. And it's, how can I say, when you have not as much distractions as before with all the free time going to bars or anything. It's not my world, but it's just you have to do something, or you want to do something, but you cannot go outside, but you have it all at your home, and you can do it as you have time, as you wish. And this is, I don't want to say that the pandemic is good in any kind of way, but it's, I guess you get my point. It's when you are doing things in a small closed community, or even by your own with the drum covers, it's okay. And people maybe are watching more videos on YouTube or Instagram when it's during a lockdown, or when they have no possibility. It's like watching more Netflix or Amazon Prime movies, because you spend more time at home and you have the internet and connect and reach out to people. And maybe that's a little better than without any pandemic. Sounds weird, but you get my point, I guess.
Yeah. And normally, kind of the term I used back then was like kind of blessing in disguise, because it allowed you to expand into other projects like YouTube and stuff like that. Obviously, I kind of refrain from using it too, because it hasn't really been anything but it's at least been good to help us expand our horizons, so to speak. So you're able now to go out and interact with other people, or maybe engage in projects on social media and stuff like that.
And see things different, according to that. See things different and focus on more stuff. Maybe all the bad things on social media, of course, when you get really, how can I say it? You told it already, with all the so many just bad vibes, bad news, and just discussions, but also the good things. And I try to use it only for good vibes, good energy, and to connect with people like you. It's really, it sounds easy, and but it's the truth. It's,
I would not say easy, but it's at least something. It's at least something to do. So, all right. It's good to see you pull through. So, glad to have you here, buddy. Okay. Well, we reached this part of the podcast where now I give my interviewees a little bit of freedom to ask me anything, or if there's anything you'd like to get off your chest. So, what you got?
You mean some kind of advice for the people, or just
in terms of advice?
I'm just not sure if I got you wrong. If I got you right.
Well, no, I guess you mean advice in terms of like drumming or any sort of music.
I was thinking about that in advance, but I was not sure. I'm still a kid, but to everybody out there, if everybody's listening to my words, and we have, it's so basic, and but it's true. I don't regret anything in my life, but when I was 27 years old and started social media and my drum covers and reaching out to people, not just playing for me or some small bands, which split up after a while. I could always have done this, but I didn't do this. Music was always a part of my life and will always be. And just do it. Don't think about anything. Don't think about if it's too much work or too expensive, or you don't have to waste your life energy or money, but you can do so many things, especially in music. You can express your emotions, what you want to do with the simplest things. It's, just do what you love. I'm so sorry that I have no other words as a not so good English speaker, but do what you like to do. It's nothing else. It sounds easy, but it isn't that easy all the time, because you have to stick to it. You have to, or you want to get better, and you have to practice, and you have a job, and the timing issue, at least to me, when you're working in a shift job, you don't have the time and the sleep and to do all the things you want to do. But quit complaining. Sounds easy. I'm not able to do this all the time, but quit complaining, quit thinking, quit overthinking, and just do what you like to do.
Absolutely. Would you say that's your message of hope to the musicians out there too? It sounded like it was. It sounded like you kind of jumped ahead, because during that part there, I thought you were asking me like to give any sort of advice to anybody out there. But I guess my advice is, in terms of getting into the social media thing, depending on what your niche is and everything, you're going to have to know it's saturated in some way. Specifically, if we're just going to stick with music-wise and drum covers, there's thousands, if not millions, of people who've done something similar to like what we're trying to do. So expect it to be tough, but you also have to learn how to diversify yourself. So you engage people in collaborations, or you actually start podcasting, do game shows, stuff like that.
And when you have an honest energy, honest expression of your feelings, or when you just have fun by what you do, with what you do, people notice that, and people stick to that and want to watch it again and again, and your new stuff, and you get better. Most people grow slowly, or everyone starts slowly out of nothing, and it gets better, and the resonance, the response of the people gets better. And then something like this happens, like this to me with your interview request, and I say the 1,000th time, it's thank you so much. It's for the opportunity. It's really fun to me. It's a compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, did you have anything else? Or
No.
I assumed you already kind of answered the last question. If you wanted to reiterate it, or because that's my last question. So what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians out there, given what COVID has done?
It's almost, I would use the same words as I said before. Focus on what you want to do. Focus on your community. And when you don't have a community, then start contacting. Start conversations via Instagram of social media. Start to contact with them, to interact, and maybe some collaborations, as you said. And every bad time, every pandemic gets over, hopefully. And when it's over, then there will be possibilities to express yourself with a different band. You always have that, how can I say it? It's the opportunities are there. And try to do what you like to do, and try to interact with people what makes you happy. And when it doesn't make fun, then you at least don't regret it in the future that you did not try it out. It's sounding easy, but do what you like to do. I'm sorry that I have no other words, but it's the same advice I would give to as a 29-year-old kid.
Yeah, absolutely. I see what you mean too. I think you did kind of exhaust it a little earlier too, so I can see why. So spoken like a true prodigy. All right. So Michael, we have reached near the end of my podcast right here, I guess. Did you have any other questions or any shout outs or anything you want to say before we officially close out?
No, I'm glad to have the opportunity to be here, and everything's fine. You're a nice person, a great person, and it was really fun.
I try. All right, that sort of thing. All right, so no shout outs or anything? Because I feel like you have to at least give one shout out at least.
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
Shout outs, I guess.
Like readings or something.
People who've influenced you.
Yeah, I want to thank my parents for all the support. They had to drive me to the music school 100 of times. They had to buy my drum set. They didn't had to buy it. They wanted to support me, and I'm sure I was not a calm teenager, especially as a loud drummer and listening to heavy music, and wanted to play to heavy music, along to heavy music. And thanks to my parents, my closest friends, everybody who listens to this knows that he's meant, and of course the whole drumming community and everybody who hears this. Really, everybody's an influence, even if you don't know it. It's when you hear something of you, it's, how do you say it, subconscious. You pick it up, and when you hear other drummers, other genres, influences, it's getting a part.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's it like integrates or like connects with you in some sort of way. So something like that. I could be completely wrong, but it's my metaphorical usage of how to say it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right.
All right. So everyone, my guest today was Michael, hailing from Germany. My third one, actually, from Germany. Hello, Deutschland. That's what we were saying. All right. So, Michael, thank you again so much for coming on here, buddy. So, stay safe. Stay tuned, y'all.
Goodbye.